Think it's just, can you see it going live? Not yet. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, welcome everybody. I am Dr. Jen, and I am really thrilled to have Katie join us today. And this is called Eat Your Damn Food, Healing from Your Food and Body Struggles. And you probably have seen Katie do some of our social media posts if you're following us on Fab Instagram or Facebook. And I thought it was really important. This was an important week as people are preparing for, at least in the States, our Thanksgiving holiday, which is centered so much around food and eating and communing, sometimes with family or friends. Or for some people, maybe you're also not really connected to your family. And so you're trying to figure out alternative plans, which I've been working with clients this week around how do you take care of yourself at the holiday. So Katie, welcome. I'm so happy to have you.
Yes, I'm very happy to be here too, Jen. And it's a big honor to be helping out Fab during this time of year.
That's awesome. So, Katie, maybe just really briefly, if you could tell people like you were in the Food and Body program, in the FAB program, and maybe just to tell people like how long you were with us and when you graduated from the program.
Yes, I began Fab in July 2022, and that was during a time I was in fact living in Florida, in Tampa, Florida, and I was struggling a lot with restricting and overexercising and trying to heal it myself wasn't working, so I knew I needed professional help. So I began Fab, and I was with Fab for a year, and then I graduated in July 2023, and I was in a much better place than I was in 2022. And I feel I've come a long way since then, and I feel a lot more comfortable and content in my body.
Hmm. And Katie, I think there's a quote I don't know if you said it because you heard it from somebody, but you often say like recovery is not a straight line. So would you say your time in Fab was just like easy peasy, straight line, as soon as you started and it just all went that way?
Oh, no, 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 no. I think the what you're trying to say is recovery is not linear, and it's true. It's not linear. And during my time in Fab, it wasn't linear at all. There were times I would take a few steps forward in recovery, but then I would take a few steps back because I was either fearful or afraid of the unknown. And then I would have to pick myself back up and move forward again. It's kind of like climbing Mount Everest where you have to like go up a little bit and then go down a little, then continue to go up until you get all the way up to the top.
Mm, awesome. Yeah. And Katie, what I remember is just how persistent you were and how you very much would reach out to the whole team for support. Maybe not in the very beginning. In the very beginning, it was kind of like you were a little more secretive, but at some point when it really started changing for you, you were really wonderful about reaching out and asking for what you need.
Yes, I mean, from the get-go, I really wanted to get better, and I knew that by being honest or like getting answers from like professionals, it was the only way I could get better. I think why I was so secretive was because I was afraid of the unknown and afraid of change. But the more I put my feet outside my comfort zone, the more comfortable I became about the unknown, and the further it put me along in recovery.
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about holidays, right? Because you can remember going home in the beginning, early recovery, and dealing with maybe your first Thanksgiving. And that could be, it can be really challenging for anybody, right? Like the holiday time, right? It can just bring up so many different feelings for people, right? So I know for myself too. The holidays can bring up a lot of feelings for me because I lost my mom last year. And so it's like I have now like a little bit of mixed feelings when it comes to the holiday time. And have to take care of myself in a different way than maybe in the past. So like holidays can bring up like really good memories and like hard things, and it can be a mixed bag. So Katie, before this, we were talking about what some of the things have been for you that really made a difference in terms of preparing for that first Thanksgiving. Because I do think when people go in to the holiday with some kind of plan, it doesn't have to be a plan that's going to be followed to the T, but starting to really think through how are you going to make this holiday the best it could be for you and also not abandon your recovery. So like what were some of those things that made a difference for you, especially early recovery?
Yeah, so in the holidays of 2022, I traveled back to Missouri where I live with my family to spend Thanksgiving with them. And that week was a little bit rough because I was still in early recovery. I was still fearing foods and fearing not moving a lot. And there was a lot of holiday foods that were available. And I think something that helped me is that I needed to challenge myself with these foods and allow myself to have them because that was important to my recovery.
Mm.
And if I did become overwhelmed by what I ate or about an event that involved eating that was coming up, I would go off into a room and talk with a loved one about my worries and concerns. And then they would ask me like, "Oh, what happened in the moment? What are you thinking right now?" Does this serve you during this time? And what is the right next step for you? Do you need to talk with us, or do you need to take a few deep breaths, practice the power of the pause? And
Mm.
what would your treatment team say to you in this situation?
Mhm. Wow, those are so good. So one thing I hear is like, look, for people listening, this could really be an opportunity to practice and to step out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself with maybe some foods that you don't always eat or maybe haven't eaten for a while. The other big piece I hear is really putting in that support. And I know your mom was like such a key person, and at the time, also the person you were dating, like those were two key people that you could turn to. And you can already hear they were so great at asking you sort of some of the questions of trying to help you really be able to access the tools in the moment that were going to make the difference to move you forward.
Yes, because they could not make the difference for me. I had to make the difference myself.
Mm.
And the questions they asked me allowed me to critically think in the moment, like, what is the right next step for me and what is it I want in life? I want to recover. I don't want to be stuck in this cycle my whole life. I want to be free around foods and be able to live my life again.
The other thing I remember that was really key, even though like when you would go home for these holidays, that you were busy, right? You were like going to lots of, I mean, your life was busy. You were going to church events and you were meeting with people, and but you always made time to also meet with your team. Like that was a key part of like, I'm not gonna like just stop my sessions and put like recovery on hold while I go home for the holiday. So that was like built into your time home.
Yes, I mean, if I had put recovery on hold, I knew I would never get better and it wasn't going to be top priority in my life. And I needed to make recovery top priority in my life back then because I was not going to move forward with my life if I left it on the back burner.
Mm. I'm also thinking about a client who she would feel pretty stressed when she would go home for the holidays. A little bit different than your family that was, I think, pretty supportive and had already been doing some work with you and Fab. And her family really didn't understand the eating disorder so much. And so we really worked with her on, like you mentioned, like the power of the pause. Like she would pause by stepping outside sometimes of the her family and the stress of that to go like take a mindful walk with her dog, like have some moments where she could take the pause and really have some time to center herself and ground herself. And if she needed to on one of the walks with the dog, like she could text somebody or reach out to a friend or somebody on her treatment team. And Katie, I'm wondering if there were things that really helped you make sure you were like tools to kind of take care of yourself or just take some time away to really like have that time to be with yourself.
Yes, and aside from talking to my loved ones about my concerns, I know journaling really helped too, especially the journal that Yvonne and I were working on at the time. Like every time I had a snack or a meal, I would record like what I ate and how I felt about the meal or the snack. And in the notes part of each journal, I had to say like how I was feeling or how I liked the what I was eating. And I think one thing that Yvonne told me in the early part of my recovery was to not let the eating disorder have the last word, was to put like a positive thought at the end of each negative thought. And that's another thing that really helped me to kickstart recovery, especially during the holidays, because I was leaving that state of mind with a positive thought, not a negative thought.
That's so great. So Dr. Vaughn is our pretty awesome nutritionist in Fab. She has her doctorate. She's been doing this work for like 30 years, and we use something pretty interesting. We use a private Instagram is the way that Katie's talking about journaling. So just her and the nutritionist would have this dialogue back and forth. And what I remember, Katie, is you really got good at expressing your feelings in the moment. Like you would really post. I mean, you would really share and sometimes pictures that of the food or the activity that you were doing. So it was you really used it as a way to dialogue with your team and to be very transparent, not just with the positive things, but with the struggles as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I feel like that's what really allowed the team to know like what I was going through and how they could best help me.
Mhm. Well, everybody, we are going to end for right now. Katie, just so grateful for you, all the ways you continue to share your story and to give back, and all the ways that you do. And I just want to wish everybody a beautiful Thanksgiving. And just know that there are people to support you. And sometimes it really does take taking the risk and opening your mouth and telling people what you need, whether it's, somebody who specializes or somebody in your life. But it's really important to make sure you're not alone when you're going through eating disorder recovery. So, okay, Katie, well, we'll definitely have you back to talk about another topic as well. But this was a really important one for today.
Yes, thank you so much, Jen, for having me here. I feel very happy to be here and to support Fab.
Awesome.